Okay, we're here. Welcome, my most amazing artists. We are going to finish our scratch art color wheel together. Some of the things that you are going to need for finishing this project, as you can see, I've cut my color wheel out that we did in part 1. And I do want to make a note that in order for this color wheel to really be easy to read, it really is important. And the last video I was like, it's not a big deal, but the reality is you really do want to make it as even as possible, because as I was scratching this example, I found that it wasn't going to be easy for the kids to read the color across from it. So do try to be accurate with your divisions here. I mean, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but to use the color wheel for reference, it is easier for the kids to read, to make sure that those colors are opposite. So let's first talk about the things you're going to need, and then I'm going to discuss the color wheel theory really quickly, and then we'll finish this up. Okay, so you're going to need a paper plate or some palette, some sort of thing. I use these little paper plates or my plastic palette, just depends on what I got laying around. A brush is fine, or I have this sponge today, but you could just use a paintbrush if you wanted. Some acrylic paint or tempera paint. I've used both. I think for the overall product, I do prefer the acrylic because when you scratch it away, it doesn't flake quite as bad, and it leaves a nicer product in the end. And some Dawn dish soap or other dish soap, just any kind of a detergent that you use, like for dishes. Mine's really dirty. It's got paint and stuff stuck to it. Sorry about that. All right. So, and then a pair of scissors, a paper towel, and some stuff to scratch with. Now, I am using scissors to scratch today after you cut it out, of course, but I want to use it for showing you how to use it for scratching too. That's kind of cool. Okay. And it, you could even use a popsicle stick or an orange stick if you have your manicure set. This is a little bit big. My stick's a little bit big, but if you had one that was a little bit smaller or something that was a little bit more pointy, you could use the end of a paintbrush too. Just find out what works for your paperclip. Paperclip's a really good one too. Okay, so toothpick, scissors, paper towel, your piece, a piece of paper underneath to catch all of our paint that goes off the surface. And the first thing I want to talk to you about really quickly is this color theory. The colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, if you go in order, when we colored, we had, I had it this way, we had red, orange, yellow, Roy, G for green, Biv, so blue and violet, okay? So we need to make sure that you do them in that order, otherwise this doesn't work, okay? So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Most of us have seen this multiple times. So, but some little kids, they might need help making sure they get those colors in order, okay? Now, boys and girls, let's teach our parents about color theory, okay? So in art, the colors that are across from each other are called complementary colors. They are the most dynamic in art next to one another. So they have the most vibrancy when red is placed next to green. Both those colors are at their most intense, okay? And likewise, orange and blue. When they are across from each other, those two colors look really dynamic in artwork. And so when you see these colors or the colors that are in the color families of these hues, you will have a very vibrant and exciting and pleasing to the eye picture, all right? Yellow is across from purple, red's across from green, and orange is across from blue. Okay, so that's how we think it. Now, the colors that are next to each other are called analogous colors. So these are warmer colors over here. We consider the warm colors, and these on this side are considered cool colors. Okay, so these are analogous colors and I tell the boys and girls that analogous is a fancy word for like brothers and sisters. They kind of live together, and they're sort of the same intensity, and they live together in a house in a family of cool colors. And the red and orange and the yellow are analogous. They're brothers and sisters that live in the house of warm colors. And so that helps them to understand the relationship between these contrasting and these similar colors, okay? So that's how we look at it. So when I'm making an artwork and I want to use green in something, I might want underpaint in red, or I might put these two colors in an abstract next to each other, and that creates a vibrant look that's exciting for the eye to look at, and really the success of the piece will be more successful when you use the color theory to make your color choices within your work. And this applies to all the paintings that you're doing with Mary, in Painting with a Purpose, and any artwork that you do, even coloring with crayons at home and color pages. Those art decisions make your work even better. Okay, so we can use this color wheel when we get finished to make some color choices. But color wheels are a dime a dozen, so I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to do a scratch art one. And so let's get down to business, okay? I'll try to be as quick as possible. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to take my plate. I'm going to put a little paint. You can use, like I said, tempera or acrylic. This is acrylic from Walmart. And then you're going to put just a little soap in it, just to change the, it's not going to be quite as hard to patch through. And then you want to give it a swirl, not too much soap, just a couple of drops. And that just makes it so it is easier to scratch through, because acrylic is pretty sturdy paint. So I just kind of load my thing, and then I'm going to set it here, and it's going to be a little bit messy. So you're just going to give it a good coat. And, you know, I ended up coating mine, I think, once or twice. And you may find you need a little bit more. I don't like to put more on my plate than I'm going to need, because I don't like to waste. So, yeah, that's kind of how I am. So anyway, just get what you need there. If you're doing more than one of these, you got a couple people doing them, you want to make sure you got plenty. And go all the way to the edge, and it's okay if it gets on the paper. And you're just going to give a good coat. And you have to, you know, be careful holding the edge. And you're just going to give it a good coat. If you want to tape it down by putting a little circle of tape on the underside so it doesn't slide around on you, you can do that. And as you can see, it's pretty waxy, so we actually need a couple of coats to get that nice and black. Okay, so I'll do one more. I didn't really let it dry that much. You kind of want to let it dry a little bit. But I'm just, for our sake, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pile it on. Trying to touch it in the least number of spots. It's okay to have a little bit, but... And then that's what you do. You need to rinse that out pretty much immediately. If you're using acrylic, you want to wash that out immediately. If you're using tempera, it doesn't matter. Acrylic will dry and it will ruin that sponge. If you don't care about your sponge, that's fine. Throw it away. But I actually like to reuse mine because that's just how I am. It's an art teacher thing. So you can remove your stuff, and this will just need to set and dry completely. If you're impatient like me, you can use blow dryer and you can blow it dry. Just make sure it's nice and dry before you try to scratch. It's better to do it and then run off and do some other things. Now, I'm going to show you the next part. Okay, so I went ahead and started this just to check it to make sure. This has a problem because I didn't actually draw my median line right. So as you can see, it's a little tough for kids to make this connection quite evenly because I wasn't quite careful enough. And I thought it'd be okay. And I mean, generally speaking, looking at it, it's still cool. But you do need to, for using it for a color wheel, make sure that it's kind of straight. Okay, so basically all you're going to do is take your straight edges, your little pokey thing, whatever you're going to use, and it is a little bit messy, but it's so much fun. So you can take this toothpick and you can just scribe into the side of your piece. The kids really can do whatever they want. I like to try to kind of keep a central focus because that helps us be able to see what colors are across from each other. Like, you see how mine doesn't quite match up exactly, okay? But most will if you do the method that I showed you in our detail. Okay, and the scissors are the next thing I want to show you. See, because scissors, you could use kid scissors. You got to be careful. You don't want like super sharp scissors, but if you just open this just a little tiny bit here, you've got two pointed surfaces that you can use to scratch at the same time, which is how I did the star pattern. So, it just depends on your kids' patience. If they want to draw a picture or do, they can do anything they want, but you want to take off a lot of it because you want them to be able to see the colors. So I like this one because it gives me a fat line and a skinny line, and it goes pretty quick when you use it. So, or you can put them together and you can make one little line, a little line next to it. But I find that it's more fun, I think, with a thicker line. And the scissor works really good for that. I suppose you could use a fork or a spoon. And really, the art part is the part that each artist gets to make their decisions about. So you can do any number of designs. Now this year we did a lot of designs during our Aztec unit, and the kids could use their Aztec design making skills to make all kinds of cool designs and patterns. But you could also do a scene if you wanted to do a flower, or if you wanted to do a sunset or something like that in the circle. That'd be kind of a cool thing to do. Okay, so you're just going to scratch into it, and then you've got your color wheel art, and you want to take your thing and sort of tap it off. You've got these little crumbs, and I wanted to tell you that once you get to this point, you want to take a paper towel and just, when you're finished, and just give it a little quick wipe. You don't want to push too hard. Don't push too hard, and I don't think your hand works as good. You end up getting stuff all over yourself, but you see, that was all on there. So you just wipe it off, and I wanted to give you a little extension of this project, okay? I did a color wheel just with paint, and then I poked some holes in it, and I put some yarn, and I strung the yarn through the holes all the way around, and then I put a little hanger on it. So if your kid wants to hang up their art, and maybe mom wants it to be finished a little bit, you can just poke holes there and put some yarn around it, and it makes a really nice little fun art and craft. Now this one's just paint. It doesn't have the scratch art, but you could do the same thing with your new scratch art color wheel. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. It's really fun, and even though it seems kind of silly, it actually does help kids to make decisions about what colors should go next to each other, okay? And it helps them to become better artists, and it's really fun. And you could use a scratch art technique for pictures. If you just want to color all over a picture and then scratch it off, it's the same process for that. And so you get a lot of bang for your buck with this particular project. Have a great day, and don't forget to create every single day. Bye.